looking at Xbox, coding games all day, dreaming about Halo and that sweet, sweet pay. Microsoft was raking in billions, I swear, but June 25, they said, son, we don't care. They called it restructuring, some corporate plan, while Satch's counting cash in his big old van. Record profits, revenue climbing to the moon, but my job's gone faster than a honky-tonk tune. Oh, Xbox laid me off, but the money keeps flowing. Microsoft stock is up and their profits are growing. I'm sitting on my porch with a beer and a frown while they're dancing in Redmond to that corporate sound. Yeah, Xbox laid me off and it don't make sense. How's a cowboy to live when the jobs get fenced? I built Master Chief's armor, pixel by pixel. Now I'm pawning my Xbox for a jar of dill pickles. They said it's just business, don't take it to heart, but my rent's overdue and my truck won't start. They're buying up studios, spending like kings, while I'm strumming my guitar, selling old wedding rings. Game Pass is booming, they're living the dream, but I'm eating spam by the light of my screen. Oh, Xbox laid me off, but the money keeps flowing. Microsoft stock is up and their profits are growing. I'm fishing for change in my couch's old seams, while they're planning new consoles for their corporate schemes. Yeah, Xbox laid me off and it don't make sense. How's a cowboy to live when the jobs get fenced? I heard they're making AI to replace folks like me. Guess Cortana's taking my cubicle, yeehaw, whoopee. They're swimming in gold like a Scrooge McDuck vault, but they kicked me to the curb, said it's my own dang fault. Now I'm singing at the bar, trying to make a buck, hoping some drunk gamer tip me some luck. I wrote this here song about my layoff blues, maybe it'll go viral, get me out of these shoes. So here's to the coders, the artists, the crew who got canned by Xbox when the profits grew. We'll raise a cold one to the games that we made and pray Microsoft's next plan don't ruin our parade. Oh, Xbox laid me off, but the money keeps flowing. Microsoft stock is up and their profits are growing. I'm strumming my pain with a 3-chord twang, while they're popping champagne to their corporate bang. Yeah, Xbox laid me off and it don't make sense. How's a cowboy to live when the jobs get fenced? So crank up that banjo, let the steel guitar cry. I'll find a new gig for my dreams up and die. But Xbox, next time you're cutting folks loose, save a layoff for the suits, not the ones who produce.
Live with the consequences.
Time to play the game. Imagine a hero shooter where the hero never showed. Imagine a game with a player base that just refused to grow.
That's most definitely what's up.
A 5v5 hero shooter with gameplay that's just okay.
We're aiming for a controversial 7 out of 10.
And characters that remind me of Tupperware and white bread.
Shout out to the chess
No,
club.
I'm not talking about Overwatch. Please stop bringing up Overwatch. This game is not Overwatch. It's actually something else. Imagine a game with a story that no one watches. A game that costs $40 that Sony totally botches. It has all my favorite characters, like Lemmy, Dawn, and Craig. At least, I think that's what their names are. I never bothered to check. Concord like the grave, your legacy is safe. As a game that no one played, and a price that no one paid. Boop-a-doop, ah, deep-a-doop, da, accidentally peeing on your own leg. Concord, we're here to lay you to rest. We know you tried your best. You copied so much cool stuff just to turn out lame in the end. I'll never forget my favorite moments, like when hot sauce guy jumped. Remember when he jumped? That was really cool. A rat just ran by on my desk, and even the rat didn't want to play Concord, even though I blessed him with the chance. The $40 he could afford, but the rat just stared on in a trance. Rat, 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 rat. Concord's dead. Rat, 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 rat. Concord's dead. The Costco guys made more money than you. They were just on Jimmy Fallon too. Imagine Lennox being on Jimmy Fallon, because I literally can't. The rat on my desk is eating all my Cheerios and grapes, and also Concord is dead. Concord like the grave, your legacy is safe as a game that no one played, and a price that no one paid. Rat-a-ta-ta beep-a-da, boom. Skim, milk, the rat fleek, doo-da, doo-da. A guy said he really liked it, and then a bunch of rats ate his face. That's the sound he made when Concord passed away. I wish things turned out different, but either way I'm getting paid. Concord's dead, Concord's dead, and boy is my face red. When the game came out, everybody overslept. Concord's dead, Concord's dead. Holy crap, Lois, Concord's dead. When the game out, people played everything else instead.
They did. You know what they did? They made a game nobody wanted, and now you know what they have to do.
Live with the consequences.
It's true. It's true. How are you guys doing today? How are you feeling? How you vibing? Rat, 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 rat? Hopefully. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. We'll see. We have a couple of things to go through. This isn't going to be like a crazy stream or anything. We're not going to go for like, 6 hours or anything. We're just going to go through some of the updates, some of the newer stuff that's breaking, and it's gonna be good. Yes, I do have that pulled up. Hold on. Here, yes. If you and my okay, that's not working for some reason. Hold on. Please hold. Please hold. Okay. Okay. Weird. Maybe here. Maybe here. I don't know why it's not working. Yeah, technical difficulties. Yeah, I now have to
live with the consequences
of my own actions. What if I just go defaults on everything? Okay, and then I'll try to customize it from there. It's really weird. I don't know why it's doing this to me today. Does it think it's only 1080p? Weird. I don't know what that is. But yes, in case you missed it, the SKG petition initiative, whatever word you want to use, has passed 1 million signatures. And to just be very clear, that is 1 million signatures being like EU only, because we cannot sign it if we are outside of the EU. It is only for residents, which is good. Like, I know there's been some of these types of things where they like, hey, everybody sign this petition, but it's global, and so it doesn't really do a lot, because the like legislators are always like, oh, well, actually we don't have to do anything because some of these guys were not local to us, so we don't have to consider what they're saying. But in this case, it is local. Dude, my browser now is freaking out. I don't know what's happening. I do have the new sound mixer coming later today, and so we'll have that, and we'll be able to go through it. Yeah, it's gonna be good. But yes, they broke 1 million signatures, which I believe was the goal. If you guys have it pulled up, do you guys know which like what the threshold was, what they were trying to hit? I believe it was 1 million. I think that was the goal. I think that was what they were shooting for. I don't like, obviously, shocker, I don't know the specifics of getting legislation or getting things like that started in the EU, so I just don't know what the process is like. I know in the States, if you have like a change.org petition or something, all it really does is get a headline. So the politicians are more likely to see it and respond to it. Doesn't really like by itself do anything, but it's a great way to begin the conversation at the very least and like get the ball rolling, you know? So that's good to see. It's good to see. Cheers to the crew that pulled that off. Let's see. Yeah, it's really weird. The capture card only wants to do 1080p. Okay, well, sorry fam. The capture on the screen is going to be a little blurrier than normal, just a tad, but that's what we're going to do. Yeah, Hades is great. Hades is great. It's a fantastic piece of video game. Tell you what, don't you know? Tell you what. What was one of the, oh yeah, we have a couple of these little things. Mind's Eye, they're saying they're going to try to relaunch it. Like they're actually saying that. So well, I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't know what the goal is there, what they think they're actually gonna pull off, but they say they want to relaunch it, and they say that there was like saboteurs working within the company and like in the outside areas of the company to affect it. It's like low-key kind of crazy, but we'll go through that. More fallout from the layoffs. This wasn't available at this point in the stream yesterday, but Halo Studios was also affected by the layoffs yesterday. This is something I mentioned, was that over the course of the day we would hear about more because people were actively finding out while we were streaming. But Jason Schreier said, you know, we'll see more stuff later this year. And then Megatron Deathray, that's a great name, said, I was let go from Halo Studios, sucks. And then they looked on LinkedIn and were actually able to find more people. Today's my last day at Xbox Halo Studios, working on the Halo franchise. It's been a dream come true, both as a fan and someone who's passionate about building great experiences. He previously was working there as a quality analyst at Microsoft in Halo. Okay. And then we also have CJ, was a UI artist and visual designer, also laid off as part of all of this, looking for graphic design roles and stuff like that. So they did also get hit, which back when we were talking about it yesterday, it wasn't clear if they were affected, but it looks like they were. So take that in. I do think, you know, as the day has gone on, we've seen even more people mention this, but it's important to just remember that it, like, this very much seems like it was a corporate command from Satya to cut a certain number of people across the company. In terms of total affected jobs within Microsoft, it's about 9,000. Within Xbox, though, it looks like maybe somewhere in the range of like 200 to 400 people. It's not super clear yet, but yeah, I've seen people conflate it and being like, oh, so Xbox laid off 9,000 people. And it's like, bro, you can't read? Are we being serious right now? So it's just important to be precise with these things.
Dr. Jones donated $9.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Since I've been back, I have literally no lifed KCD2 on leave. And did I miss something? But why is Death Stranding on Xbox Play Store?
Well, I mean, I forget when that happened, but yeah, Death Stranding's been there. The second game is not, at least as far as I know. So that's not there yet. But yeah, it's available, and I'm sure 2 will come probably in a year or something. Like it'll show up eventually. As for KCD2 no lifing it, I totally understand your predicament, and I encourage you to continue because it's fantastic. It's great. Yeah, and play the DLC too. The DLC is good. And check out some of the mods, because some of the mods are also pretty cool as well. There's lots, man. Yeah. Jellyman, thank you for the message on Twitch. I'm sorry, Twitch just held it because you said ass, which apparently Twitch thinks is a no-no. So thank you for that message. Been watching you for a while on YouTube. Haven't really tuned into your streams until now. Love the work you do. Big thanks for providing some calm audio to listen to while I get my ass kicked in Elden Ring. Glad to do it, my friend. Glad to do it. And have fun in Elden Ring. Yeah, that would be a good one to go back to. My backlog is already too big. I can't afford it. But you know, it's also recently been added to my backlog. Giggity. Anthem. Servers are shutting down. They officially revealed it. They're shutting down servers January 12th of 2026. At that time, the game will no longer be playable. Period. Full stop. Why can't I play Anthem in an offline mode? Anthem was designed to be an online only title, so once the servers go offline, the game will no longer be playable. It's just gone. It's just gone. So, yeah, it's dead. It's dead. It's over. Yeah, it looks like the petition did not help this game. Anthem missed the boat on that one. You know, but this is, I mean, another bringing up the, like, Jack in the 12-month. Oh, I just realized that's 12 months, Jack? Jeez. Jack with the 12-month renewal of his membership for hitting the year milestone. That's awesome. Thank you, Jack, for being here for an entire year. And yes, Stop Killing Games just hit 1 million. Yes, and I mean, that movement, that initiative is aiming to prevent stuff like this. So the idea is, if you buy a game like Anthem, they would have to go in and make it playable offline. It could be just host a private match. It could be host your own local server that's literally just your IP address, like old LAN games and stuff. They would just have to do that before they could take it offline. And I'm not a programmer. I don't know how easy or tough that would be. My understanding is if you made it a requirement, they would just build the game from the start with something like private servers hosted locally on your own machine or something. And that would be a get out of jail free card for this. But the idea that you could have, like, you could buy Anthem at full price, and then on January 12th of next year, you just don't get it anymore. It's just gone. That's crazy. Like, that's so stupid. I don't know, man. It's so unbelievable to me that it's turned into a scandal, I guess. Just dumb. It's like, I thought this was one thing we could all agree on. Dude, I'm looking for like lens wipes to clean my glasses real quick. There they are. But in this same drawer is where I keep extra Diablo packets for those late night gaming sessions when you DoorDash a couple of Taco Bell burritos. You gotta have extra. You gotta be ready, you know, because you never know when that hunger is gonna strike you. I forget what we were playing recently. We were playing, it was like a co-op game with my college roommates, and we were playing it, and I was like, yeah, I'm like a little peckish, but I'm fine. And then one of my buddies is like, you know what? I'm going to DoorDash some Taco Bell. I was like, you son of a bitch. Now I have to. I have to now. Come on, man. Come on. Oh, what are you going to do? There goes my orange theory work. No, I didn't eat it today. I threw away the plate. I had for lunch I almost said raw. I meant like 2 just chicken breasts, grilled chicken breasts. Just had that. Munched it down. Very good. Back in the day when I was going through hardcore like workout and weight loss stuff for a role for a musical I was in, I basically lived on Caesar salads and grilled chicken and brown rice. And I lost like 20 something pounds in 5 weeks, 20, 25. And I was not a big dude. Like started at like 195, 200 about there. Went down to like 176 in like 5.5 weeks or something like that. And it's because I just ate raw chicken, not raw chicken, just chicken, not raw chicken. Why does my brain want to say raw chicken? I'm not the liver king. It works. It works. You just, and like my one hack that worked for me was that I would work out like crazy. We'd do the rehearsals. I would eat nothing but like pre-portioned, and I had food scale. So I would weigh out how much like brown rice, how much chicken, how much everything I could have. And, you know, a single tablespoon of the dressing or whatever. But my one cheat was at the end of the night at like 11 p.m. I would go to McDonald's and I would get a large Sprite. You know, McDonald's Sprite feels like you're swallowing shards of glass. It's so spicy and zingy on your throat. I love that stuff, man. That's the good stuff. McDonald's Sprite built different. So I would go and I'd get that, and that would be like my one cheat, my one thing that was not part of my macros, that was just for enjoyment. And that would get me through the day because I would look forward to it all day. Do it for the Sprite. Love it. Love it. Chick-fil-A Dr. Pepper, something else. Yeah, Chick-fil-A Dr. Pepper is really good. But Sprite, man. A good zingy Sprite. Nothing beats it. Super extra carbonated. That's the way to do it. McDonald's Sprite is goated. Yeah,
Jimbo
dude.
404 donated
And it's working now.
$10 through Super Chat. McDonald's Sprite is goated.
It is indeed. It's so good. It's so good. These Zevias are good because they're flavored or sweetened, I guess, with stevia plant extract, whatever. So they're good. They're zero calorie, like no aspartame or anything. They're good. But nothing gets close to a McDonald's Sprite, dude. Nothing gets close to it. Oh, nothing quite there. McDonald's Sprite, double cheeseburger, breakfast goes hard. Dude. I was mocked by my wife recently. This is me asking for help, okay? I was mocked by my wife because I told her, like, she's like, what's your favorite thing to get for like breakfast? And I was like, there's no question. There is only one answer. Chick-fil-A chicken minis. These things. They're fantastic. They're amazing.
Napara Auto donated $10 through Super Chat. Luke,
She made fun
first
of me.
off, much love. Also, while in the Midwest, did you play any euchre?
No, I did not actually. I did because am I remembering this right? It's the card game. Yeah, it's the card game. 24 card deck involves bidding, declaring trumps suit, then trying to win tricks. The goal being score points by the majority of tricks in the hand. No, we did not play any euchre, but we played a ton of dice because Nikki, part of the reason we were there was because her grandma, every year we go, has like a birthday party as part of like everybody visiting Minnesota during that week. And this year she's turning 95. I thought she turned 95 like a couple years ago. Turns out I was wrong. She was 93. Now this year she turned 95. And I know because I helped put the candles on the cake. And I was like, oh, this is 95. Okay. At that point it starts to kind of blend together a little bit. But 95, dude, that's crazy. Yeah. And she's also like, she is a crazy active 95. She's not like an old feeble 95. Dude, she is like, she still walks around everywhere. No walker, no nothing. She will go fishing. Dude, we went fishing on a lake in Minnesota. And she likes fishing with leeches. Okay. Not worms, leeches. This woman, 95 years old, she'll grab like a handful of leeches and just like put them on her hand, on the back of the hand, and let them start sucking the blood out of the back of her hand. And she just like, that's where she holds them while she's putting it on the hook. Then she fishes and then she puts it on and hooks on. It's like, that's hardcore, dude. That's hardcore. Yeah, she's built different, dude. She's like very born and raised on a farm, and her husband worked on a farm in rural Minnesota for ages, and decades and decades and decades. So she's just built different, dude. Yeah, she's hardcore. Yeah, that's just what you do when you're 95. Yeah, dude. She's hardcore. She's very cool. But yeah, we celebrated her 95th birthday, and it was a really good time. She makes a mean molasses cookie, though, by the way. I would do dirty things for a good molasses cookie. A soft one. Oh man. See, it's honestly, the more I talk about food, I know you're thinking, Luke, how are you not 5,000 pounds? I don't know either, because I love me some good food, including chicken minis. But my wife made fun of me for liking chicken minis. She said the biscuit part was gross. What? The biscuit part is amazing. It's got like honey on top. How is it gross? I don't understand. How dare I know. It looks gross, not gonna lie. Okay, this is how I fish out who to ban right here. Got you. Caught. There's a biscuit. Yeah, dude, they're like little biscuits, and then they are like the little chicken nuggets inside the biscuit, and the biscuit has like a little bit of honey on top. They're super soft and warm and delicious and amazing. They're fantastic. It's a great way to start your morning. So good. But yeah, my wife made fun of me for liking it. It's unbelievable. So if any of you guys have an extra like couch or someplace I could crash, that'd be great. That would be great. Okay, should we talk about this? Should we talk about this? The mind's eye nonsense. I kind of want to, because this is crazy. Like, this is actually crazy. KFC has minis too, but they suck. Yeah, dude, the Chick-fil-A ones are baller. They're so good. So good. No, it's not a crumbly biscuit. Like, you know, some biscuits are super crumbly that it's like almost inedible and it's just like falls apart. Kind of like a lot of KFC biscuits can be like that, you know. It's not my thing. I like the soft biscuits that stay together, you know. Mr. Stelio Kill, thank you for 15 months of membership, by the way. Yo, what's up? What's up to you, my friend? Glad to have you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome. Welcome. It's wonderful. More drama on Mind's Eye. I think what we are seeing is a full reveal of just how toxic the whole thing has been. Because, like, before launch, we heard rumors and speculation about how toxic it could be and how Leslie Benzies, the guy that runs it, is kind of an egomaniac, can never do anything wrong. If you want to stay at the company, if you want to get promoted, you have to make him feel like a genius. And it looks like the more we find out and the more stuff happens after the fact, it just seems like, yep, it looks right. It's crazy, dude. It's wild. So let's talk about it. News segment for the masses, talking about Mind's Eye doing stupid stuff. Okay. It's back, ladies and gents. Mind's Eye, it's returned to the news. Mind's Eye devs UK workforce of around 300 have received at-risk emails as former GTA lead Leslie Benzies finally addresses staff. So after Mind's Eye launched, it of course didn't go too hot. It is currently among like AAA releases, like big releases. It is the worst reviewed game of 2025. It seems to have been a catastrophic failure. It lost a ton of money. PlayStation even overrided some of their policies to allow for refunds, much more streamlined than they typically do. Normally, you buy something on PlayStation, you play it for an hour. If you want a refund, you're just kind of screwed. Whereas Steam lets you do it very, very easily. It looks like PlayStation put a little tag on Mind's Eye for customer support to allow refunds much faster, which is always a good thing for the consumer. But since all of that went down, Leslie Benzies has pretty much been silent. There's been other leadership at the studio that's kind of addressed some of the concerns and addressed gamers, saying they're going to fix it, they're going to do this and that. But the big guy in charge, Leslie, he has stayed quiet. And if you don't know who this is Leslie Benzies, a Scottish video game producer. As far as I can tell, I tried to find videos. No, he does not wear a kilt to work every day. I know, I was curious about it too, as someone with a lot of Scottish blood in me. If you've seen my thighs, you know what's up. You can see for yourself. I've got the Scottish thighs. If you don't know what those are, it's like if you buy a pair of pants, you will wear holes right in the grundle because of the friction, because your thighs are built like, you know, barrels. It's very difficult. You know, we are a people that struggle greatly. But he left Rockstar North a handful of years ago And his claim to fame was that he was a producer and the former president of Rockstar North, one of the main teams of Rockstar. And he had worked on Red Dead, he had worked on GTA 5, GTA Online, GTA 4. So he had a pretty impressive resume, you know? It looked good, dare I say. And in 2018, he founded a company called Build a Rocket Boy, and he wanted to create this like cool, crazy thing that was basically going to be like, kind of like what Fortnite is, you know, like no, it was everywhere. I already forgot what it was called. Everywhere game. This was the original, I don't think this is a 2023 trailer. It was supposed to be this big platform where you can go in with your friends, and these are all players. Everybody you see are all players, and you go through, you can play different game modes and matches, design your own game modes, your own like level design, all of that. I mean, come on, dude. That looks like it's taken straight out of Fortnite. I mean, come on. That character looks just like it. But that was part of the vision. And then at the very end of this trailer, they showed this little snippet. Okay. This little snippet coming up right here. What's that? What was that? What was that? That was Mind's Eye. So they're showing it on a screen within the game. So Mind's Eye was supposed to basically be a game within the game of Everywhere. And eventually, in my humble opinion, I think they ran out of money, and I think they needed to try to get some cash. So they decided to launch this game within the game as its own game to fund the production of the game that was supposed to be the game that this game was within. You tracking? Yeah. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense. Makes total sense. So this whole thing has been a bit of a disaster. It's been a bit of a disaster. There were allegations of all sorts of toxic work environments, of how if you wanted to move up in the company, you had to basically make Leslie feel like a genius. If you wanted to not get laid off or made redundant, you needed to just do whatever leadership said. There was no sort of very like back and forth. You could not disagree with the vision. You had to just smile and nod, you know? You just had to smile and nod. And that was all just kind of allegations for a while, but you'll see as we go through this, it really seems like there was a good amount of truth in those allegations from what we're seeing now. So what they've done is they've sent a email blasting out to their 300 employees roughly, discussing how they are all basically at risk now of being made redundant. So issued an at-risk of redundancy email to around its 300 strong UK workforce. This basically just primes the waters for the layoffs that are inevitably going to hit. And this was after they already did a round of layoffs shortly after the game came out. Sources familiar with the goings-on inside the embattled studio told IGN at-risk emails were also sent to staff at PlayFusion, which BARB acquired late 2024. PlayFusion, whose CEO Mark Gerhard became co-CEO of BARB as part of the buyout, is working on a different game, a fast-paced FPS called Ascendant, which was meant to come out this year. Last month, IGN reported that Build a Rocket Boy had begun redundancy process following the release of Mind's Eye. The standard 45-day consultation process kicked off June 23rd. Okay, so I could have been wrong about the layoffs already hitting. This is what I was talking about. So I guess they started it, but they didn't actually finish it. So it's still happening. Let's see, which according to UK law is triggered when an employer proposes 100 or more redundancies within a 90-year period. So it's a UK law that requires them to do a 45-day consultation process before they can just fire all of those people. IGN understands that BARB currently has around 300 UK employees and 200 abroad. You would not have thought that Mind's Eye was made by a team that big, right? Like, I think the total number of people working on The Witcher 4 is less than this total team size. I think they have like 400 people working on Witcher 4. And that, you know, these guys are rocking 500 employees. So kind of crazy, dude. Like it's a big team, but a lot of that team was built with money that was thrown at them because of Leslie's reputation, because of his pedigree, because he's like, yeah, I made GTA Online. I made all these amazing games. Give me money. I can make you your own GTA Online. That was the vision, at least. That was the idea. At the time, BARB issued a statement confirming the redundancy process, insisting the cuts will let the studio, quote, focus on delivering ongoing updates and performance optimization for Mind's Eye while ensuring the long-term success of Build a Rocket Boy, blah, blah, blah. Soon after it launched, they said that they were heartbroken with the issues, which always feels weird to me when they're like, we're heartbroken. Not everybody's enjoying our game as much as we wanted them to. It's like, bitch, you knew the game was broken. I don't think you get to be heartbroken. You know, it's like you sell me a car that, let's say the transmission is blown and it's just done. And so I got screwed. And then I go back to you and I say, hey, I want my money back. You sold me a lemon of a car. And you go, yeah, I'm heartbroken. You're not liking the car. It's like you knew the transmission was broken when you sold it to me. You don't get to be heartbroken. Like you were trying to screw me. What do you mean? What do you mean? Doesn't make any sense. But I guess they're heartbroken. All the while, Mind's Eye troubled launch saw the developer cancel sponsored streams with reports of players securing refunds, even from the normally stubborn Sony surfacing online. Yeah, who was it? There was one streamer who was starting the stream. Oh, it was Ko. I think Ko was starting the stream and he got an email as he's about to launch the game. I think it was actually booting up, just saying, yeah, let's cancel the sponsored stream. Don't bother. And so he closes the app and launches Dune. He's like, okay, I guess we're not doing it. That's how crazy this got, that they were frantically canceling sponsored streams at the last possible second. The game hit a peak of concurrent player counts of 3,300 at launch, but it had a 24-hour peak of just 46 players as of the time of writing this, I assume. At the time of this article's publication, 26 people were playing on Steam, where Mind's Eye has a mostly negative user review rating. Yep. So, story-driven action-adventure game, Mind's Eye was initially designed to be part of Everywhere, the Roblox for adults. I don't think I ever called it Roblox for adults, but that is basically what it was going to be. That's probably a better way of describing it. Roblox for adults, creation platform led by former Grand Theft Auto design chief Leslie Benzies. BRB eventually switched to focus on Mind's Eye, but it has so far failed to do business for the company. Yeah, it was supposed to be a cash injection, and it seems like it has just been a total disaster. You know, it did the opposite. Lost a lot. Meanwhile, BARB sources told IGN that Benzies finally addressed staff following the release of the game in a brief video call yesterday, July 2nd. According to two people present who were asked not to be named, obviously, Benzies insisted that Build a Rocket Boy would bounce back and relaunch the game, Mind's Eye, blaming the studio and the game's struggles on internal and external saboteurs. Internal and external saboteur. What is that? What is the allegation? Is the allegation that, like, you know, GTA 6 devs or Take-Two Interactive had a spy on the inside that forced them to rush the game out or something? What does that even mean? They blame the studio and game's struggles on internal and external saboteurs. Saboteur implies that it's also intentional. Like they are trying to break things. They're trying to destroy it from the inside. It's not like incompetence, you know, internally and externally. He's saying that there were people intentionally trying to ruin the game. Like, do you see what I mean? When the allegations before the game came out were that this guy's a bit of an egomaniac and refuses to take accountability, refuses to think that he could do anything wrong. Like he believes he is the smartest person in the room, and if you want to get promoted, you have to make him happy and blah, blah, blah. That's what people have been saying for ages about him. And now it's starting to really sound like that may be the case.
Jira database, and that'll get sent out to to devs to fix. You do have to play the whole thing, and that's what takes time. You've got to do a full playthrough. We've got to notice.
So he admitted that he did multiple full playthroughs of the game. He knew how bad it was. And yet he's blaming the reception on saboteurs. Like, what? That's delusion, my friends. That's delusion. You know what the deal is? If you release a broken, crappy game that you knew was broken and crappy, it's not going to sell well. You're going to lose money and people will laugh at you. And you know what? That's what you get. You chose to release the crappy game that you knew was crappy. Now,
live with the consequences.
That's what has to happen. That's what has to happen. The comments rekindle memories of those issued by Mark Gerhard ahead of the release of Mind's Eye. The co-CEO hit the headlines for claiming there was a concerted effort by some to trash the game and the studio. This came after yours truly made a couple of videos that kind of popped off about Mind's Eye. And then, you know, it was picked up by some other outlets, websites, even IGN. Eventually started talking about it for a while. IGN didn't discuss like how bad it was, but eventually they came around. And the allegation was that we were paid off. And it was heavily suggested that we were paid off by like Rockstar, and it's because they were scared that this game would affect the sales and performance of GTA 6. Again, like delusion, okay? I wasn't paid off by big single player to talk about how bad Suicide Squad was. I wasn't paid off by Overwatch to talk about how bad Concord was. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. It's just like, what's more likely? There is a gigantic scandal. There's a gigantic concerted effort of like spies and backroom deals to pay off streamers and YouTubers to talk poorly about your product because they're threatened by it, or your game that's really buggy and broken just doesn't look very good and people are calling it out. Like, it does not require a scandal. It doesn't. You know, Occam's razor. Yeah, exactly. Accept the solution that has the fewest variables. And in this case, you know, there's other sayings. Never attribute to malice that which can be explained by incompetence or you know, stupidity. Or in this case, never attribute to a massive, like, conspiracy that which can be totally explained by your own incompetence. And in this case, yeah. I mean, you don't need a crazy conspiracy to explain why people were making videos about this game. You know, you just don't. Immortal Fish, thank you for that. It is confirmed Luke Stevens is a paid actor. Yeah, I mean, they said so. So there you go. That's all the evidence you need, apparently. So yeah, suggesting people were being paid or using spam bots to post negative comments. The boss of publisher IO Interactive, which makes the Hitman games, subsequently issued a denial. Hitman boss says he doesn't believe people are being paid to post negative comments about Mind's Eye. I just think the game should speak for itself. Yeah, can you imagine having that opinion? Can you imagine just being like, no, if people don't like the game, it's probably because they don't like the game, not because they're being paid. Like, what? And also, for everybody else on the planet, we could see there was no fear from Rockstar. Like, why would Rockstar be scared of Mind's Eye? Like, even if Mind's Eye was going to be amazing, why would they be scared of them? Like, they're going to have time. They're going to release later. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. You know, and I mean, this whole thing has been a disaster. When we went to the IOI showcase thing, here it is. Where is it? Where they actually started the thing. So I was here. You can kind of see my head. I'm sat like right here in the front row, just where everybody's walking in. So I was at this event. It was really, really beautiful. It was it the Roosevelt Hotel? It was super cool. It was super cool. But they went through, did this little showcase. It gave me like old school Ubisoft showcase vibes. It was a fun time. But this guy is the head of IOI. He's the head of all of this. And, you know, they spent most of the time talking about 007. But at one point they did where is it? At one point they did bring out one of the like associate producers. Let's see. Assistant game director, Adam Whiting. And I genuinely felt bad for this guy. Like everybody in the room was asking about 007. That's all they wanted to talk about. This game came out, I think 2 days after this showcase or 3 days after this showcase. And nobody was talking about it. They didn't have it like as a playable demo, and he had to try and hype it up. It was crazy.
Sumer donated $10 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Conspiracy theorists accuse IGN of being paid off for reviews all the time, and it is both funny and frustrating. IGN discloses when paid off. Barb paid them for a news segment, and still got a 4.
Yeah, I think the specifically like okay, back up, Luke. Calm. I think what happens is that there are some people who legitimately think that like there are actual checks being written out for $10,000. Here, please give us a 10 out of 10. That is like ridiculous to think that that actually happens in the industry. The more nuanced version of that opinion is people thinking that those outlets or reviewers, YouTubers, streamers, what have you, they will kind of couch their opinion and be more gentle because they want to retain access. So, you know, for example, if you are like a Call of Duty streamer or YouTuber, you want to be invited to the big Call of Duty event. So when the new game comes out and doesn't look great, you could tear into it, or you could be a little bit more gentle, be like, yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll keep an open mind, because you want to remain like in that pool. You want to keep access. You don't want to rock the boat too much. You know, you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. So like there's two versions of the like paid off accusation, and you know, one is patently absurd. The other one, maybe there's something to it. In my experience, some companies do respond better to criticism and critique than others. I had made a lot of videos about Mind's Eye at this point when I was still invited to this event. I was genuinely surprised they invited me. I don't think Adam was happy, but they invited me, and I thought that was cool of them. You know, it spoke a lot to their willingness to still invite a critic of one of their biggest games that they put on the showcase. So props to them for still doing that. Props. But there are other companies that do not respond as well. Xbox. Yeah, dude, the stories I could tell you, the things that have gone on, you don't even know. Oh my God, there's so much tea. Tell you what, so much tea. But that's a story for another time. Yeah, that's a story for another time. Yeah, in my experience, it's different companies at Xbox. Like for example, they sent me a Starfield review code, which props to them. I don't think I expected that. I don't think anybody expected that. After the fact, I believe that was more of an accident. I don't think they realized I was on the email list to get review codes, but I'm still happy that I got access to it. Very thankful. Props to them for doing that, because I was more of a critic of Starfield leading up to it. I didn't think it looked all that amazing, and I let people know for sure. But there's other groups like within the corporate tier of Xbox that I don't think appreciate harsher criticism or critique. I don't think they like that. Yeah. Now look at them. Who's laughing now? Yeah. Anyway, going back to Mind's Eye though. This is absolutely insane. What they did, going back to the iOS showcase, all of this. When they did this showcase, you know, it was because they had put a lot of money into Build a Rocket Boy. They had poured millions upon millions, probably at this point, hundreds of millions of dollars into Build a Rocket Boy, because IOI started a new publishing arm, and they went and bought, or didn't buy, but they were publishing Build a Rocket Boy, putting a ton of money into it. And Build a Rocket Boy, despite having never made anything before, was getting crazy funding to have 300 developers locally and then 200 more internationally. That's wild. That's crazy and very expensive. That money was coming because they believed in the vision. They thought that Leslie Benzies was going to deliver on something really remarkable, really transformational. And it just turns out it was pretty delusional. You know, but it's as always, people blinded by dollars, people blinded by that money, baby. Like, did you know that one of the biggest gaming companies in the world is a company that makes a game that you probably don't play, but that is very, very popular among toddlers and looks like this? Yeah, Roblox. Do you know how much the company that makes Roblox is worth? Do you have any idea? It's going to depress you. It's going to blow your mind. The company was founded in 2004. They have a $70 billion market cap. 70 billion. They are valued at the same price about as Activision Blizzard King. Figure that one out. Figure that one out. You know that company that makes Call of Duty, Candy Crush, that makes, Overwatch, WoW, all of those things? Yeah, this company is worth just as much as that giga corporation. That's wild. But that's why they were willing to throw so much money at Mind's Eye and at Build a Rocket Boy, because their goal was to come out and make Roblox for adults, and that's kind of how it was pitched. That's how it was pitched. They wanted to make Roblox for adults and get basically a platform for people to come in and build their own experiences, which is what Roblox does, and provide that platform, and then they would get a piece of the pie anytime any money goes through the platform. Because again, the way you really make money in any industry is not necessarily by making the product, it's by making the platform and making the system through which the product moves. You know, like Amazon makes products. They make Amazon Basics products and they sell those, of course. They have their own, video service. They have their own pharmacy. They have all of that stuff. Absolutely. But where Amazon makes a ton of their money is from like server infrastructure. Like the cloud systems that they built initially for like just their websites and everything. Now I believe they actually own the servers that are used for like Netflix. They own the platform, and that's where the money actually is. Yeah, AWS. It's crazy. It started as a small little side project, and now that's where the majority of their revenue comes from. It's not even from selling their own products. And, Amazon as a storefront, of course, also follows a similar vein where they created a platform that they provide other people's products, and then they get a little slice of every single little thing that comes along the way. Same with Steam. Steam makes ridiculous money, because every time you buy something through them, they take 30% as their cut for giving the platform and creating the platform and hosting everything. That's where the real money is. So when Leslie came to these guys and said, hey, I want to create Roblox, but for adults, adults, those people who have their own money. Like if Roblox was able to be worth $70 billion as a platform for mainly kids, imagine how much our platform would be worth if like our player base were adults that had expendable income. Worth 10 times this. Be the biggest thing ever. So you can understand why a 60-year-old investor who has no idea anything pertaining to video games, why they might throw millions at a Leslie Benzies, because it kind of makes sense. If you pitch it like that, it kind of makes sense. It's not that realistic or practical in practice, but it kind of makes sense. So they give him the money to make Everywhere and to make this big AAA game within the Everywhere platform and to do all of this within the game, and could work if they had more billions of dollars to continue pumping it out, you know. How much is Steam worth? It's not super clear. I heard one estimated price point at like 15 billion. Some people have said it's like 50 billion. Who knows? It's privately held. So it's not, they don't have to disclose financials. They don't have to disclose any of that. It's basically just speculation and trying to infer from all of that how much it's worth. But yeah, what we do know is that Gabe is doing very, very well. He's doing very well. This is his yacht. Okay. I believe he has multiple. Yeah, he has $100 million yacht. And then this, I think, is his newer one. It's his second. And I can't keep track, but he's doing okay. Okay. He's doing okay. He's going to be just fine. Yeah, he's going to be just fine. Just fine. Yeah. Now, let's see. After all of this, and Jacob, when you cut this clip, I think you can keep all of this. I think you can just keep all of this in the segment. No need to like trim around it. I won't do that to you. Yeah. Luke, do you think BioWare blacklisted you? So what I know for a fact is that at least one of the very high up people at BioWare that was working on Dragon Age was somebody that considered themselves a fan of our content. So much so that they came up and like said hi, big fan, glad you're here, that kind of thing. Very, very kind. I think that's why I was invited. I don't know if I would still be invited because that person no longer works there. So we'll see. But as I've told you guys, if the option is for me to couch my opinions and like try to act like everything is great and just smile and nod and never critique anything, if the option is that, so I can go to like little events and stuff, or just say what I think and they may invite me, may not, who gives a crap, I'd rather do the second, you know? Like, it's way harder to like pretend like everything is great when it's not than to just say what you think when it's obviously not okay. You know, like it's just it doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't matter. I know some people live for the industry events where they can like go and like stay in a hotel and feel fancy, but my perspective is if they invite me because I think the game looks awesome or I think it looks bad, if they're inviting me because they just want to show me what they've got going, whether I'm hypercritical or not, I think that means way more if I'm saying whatever I think than if I'm some sort of like industry shill or whatever, you know? And I think it'll make more, like it'll mean more to you guys. That's my perspective, at least. Like imagine if I came back from the IOI preview thing and I was like, guys, what they showed off was amazing. I've changed my mind. I think Mind's Eye actually is going to be really, really cool. That would mean a lot more than if they invited like the most hardcore fanboy who was like, yeah, it still looks awesome. Like, of course, you know, it would make way more sense. It would make way more sense. So I fully expect and understand that there's going to be plenty of opportunities that Luke Stevens doesn't get access to. But if that's the cost of being able to say whatever I want to say, so be it. I told you guys last year, we turned down well over like the initial threshold of 6 figures in like sponsorships and deals. We turned those down because they would not agree to our verbiage of I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say. So we got reached out to by companies and publishers and developers who wanted me to do like an I tried video of their game. But I said, I want to be able to say whatever I want to say, positive or negative. And they would not allow us to do that. So we turned it down. We said, thanks, but no thanks. We're not doing that. I'm not going to do a video where I just say, this is the best game I've ever played. Like, because I don't, if I don't believe it, I'm not going to say it. You know? So we turned down well over $100,000 because they wouldn't agree to those terms. But that means way more when a company does agree, you know, because they're willing to roll that dice. They're willing to like sponsor a video with the understanding that I may have problems with what they show. You know? Like that means way
Jack
more.
has just tipped $20 through Super Chat. Thanks for not being a sellout.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the very generous 20. And I mean, it's also kind of funny because it's like I said earlier, it's way more difficult in my view to like try and cope and justify crap than to just say whatever you want to say, you know? Like it's way more difficult to try and spin everything into, so this game does look super broken, but I kind of like that. You know, it glows with style. That bug, it's actually intentional. It makes me feel more immersed. That's way more difficult than just being like, wow, that looks like ass. So I feel like, you know, maybe we're not making as much money as we could, but I feel like this is way easier, you know, in my opinion. So you're saying that Borderlands 4 is actually that good? When I say I liked Borderlands 4 and I enjoyed it and had fun, that's what I actually think. If I didn't think that, I'm allowed to say that I didn't like it. I'm allowed to say I didn't like this, I didn't like that. Because that was the agreement. I can say whatever I want to say, you know? And if they didn't agree to those terms, I wouldn't have gone. I wouldn't have accepted the terms. We wouldn't have done the deal. That's just how it works, you know? Haven't heard a single bad thing about Borderlands 4. I think there was one person who was frustrated with something very specific. It was like one of the like designs of legendary drops or something. It was well above my understanding of Borderlands. It was somebody that knows those games very, very well. But yeah, the consensus has been very, very positive. Everybody who's tried it really liked it, you know? And I think that that's a testament to that. But anyway, going back to this, because this is all roundabout. This clip is going to be like an hour long. Going all the way back to Mind's Eye, just trying to keep on track a little bit. It's hard for me sometimes. BARB sources told IGN that internally there is a desire for a Mind's Eye redemption arc that would eventually see it becoming successful for the studio. But as staff face an anxious wait to discover their fate, there are serious questions over whether BARB will be able to fulfill its post-launch roadmap for the content, including the promised multiplayer game mode on time. Earlier this week, BARB released Mind's Eye third post-release update on console with a PC release to follow. Quote, we've watched hundreds of hours of gameplay footage and reviewed player feedback across multiple channels to prioritize the most pressing issues and improve the experience for all our console players. And this is something people asked when this first happened. They're like, Luke, do you think that they can have like a Cyberpunk redemption or a No Man's Sky redemption? And I personally, I don't think so. I encourage them to try. Because I think it would be better for them to fix it than leave it. But I personally don't think so. Because in the case of Cyberpunk and in the case of No Man's Sky, those were games people really wanted and were super hyped for that then disappointed them. In the case of Mind's Eye, I don't think the hype was ever that high. I don't think there was ever anywhere near that level of interest. So even if they fix it, you know, I don't see how it comes back. Because in the case of Cyberpunk, everybody was like, okay, deliver that product to me and I will buy it. And then the product that they delivered at launch was well below that quality standard, so they didn't buy it. But once it eventually reached that level of quality, they bought it. In the case of Mind's Eye, I don't think there was ever that many people going, achieve that level of quality and I'll buy it. So when it didn't reach that level, of course they didn't buy it. But I think even if it reaches that level of quality, I still don't think there's that many people to buy it, you know? So I don't see it happening. But I guess we'll see. We'll see. I expect that they're going to have pretty hardcore layoffs hit and eventually money will dry up. Because, I mean, how likely is it that IOI is going to get more funding or give more funding for more Mind's Eye work? I don't think they're that thrilled with how this whole thing went. I think they're pretty peeved about it, frankly. So I think it's more likely that they do the first round of layoffs, and then we're going to get news that they've canceled the Everywhere platform. They're going to try to support Mind's Eye, and then they're going to shut down support of that too. And it's just going to dissolve. I think that that's most likely what's going to happen, because you can't shake the bad PR in this whole debacle that easily. It just doesn't work. But I mean, my main takeaway is how insane it is to suggest that the game's struggles were a result of internal and external saboteurs. I mean, that is like straight up delusion, wacky, crazy pants time stuff to say. And that's pretty hardcore in like the denial step of grief. Like, I understand he's been working on this game for years and years and years and years. I get that. But right now, he is right here. He is hardcore in the denial phase. Hardcore. Eventually, he's going to have to move on to bargaining, where he's going to be like, okay, yes, the game was bad, but we're going to fix it. Okay? Everything is okay. We can do this. And then it's not fixing, or he does start to fix some stuff and it's not working out. People still aren't buying it. He's going to be like, screw this. Everybody has betrayed me. In the words of Tommy Wiseau, I'm alone in this world. He's going to freak out. And then he's going to get really sad because they're going to have to shut down the studio, do layoffs and stuff. The money will dry up. And then he'll get to acceptance, where he's just going to be like, okay, yep, it didn't work. Maybe it's my fault. It just didn't work. And then move on. But I think he's bouncing between denial, bargaining, and anger. And he's just bing, 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 bing between these three. And until he can get to the point where he can like accept that this really is, at the end of the day, on studio leadership and poor management and all that, that this is just where he's at. So we'll see what happens with it. But they claim they want to relaunch it, which I agree would be amazing. It would be captivating, dare I say, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. Who knows? Maybe I'll be making a video in a year. I tried Mind's Eye again and it's amazing, but I personally kind of doubt it. We'll see. Okay. Can finally close those tabs. Thank God. Okay. Daryl Treltalin. I can't read. I'm sorry. Thank you for the 10. Only bad thing I've heard about Borderlands 4 is the poors were complaining about the price. When I was a teenager, I worked part-time waxing turtles on Prismo Beach. Stop being poor and be a real gamer. That super chat contained things I never thought I would ever read in my life. You waxed turtles on Pismo Beach. I guess someone has to do it. There you go. I actually, that is a good point. I have heard people mention the price. And, you know, the one thing about the Borderlands games is, I know, like, what's his name? Randy Pitchford. I know he was like, yeah, it doesn't go on sale hardly ever, so get these games now. I know he said that, but they go on sale all the time. Like, all the time. Waxing turtles is code for, I don't know. Is that a code for something? I'm too sheltered and naive to know. I don't know, dude. Somebody explain to me like I'm 5. Anyway, but yeah, I've heard people mention the price, and it will go on sale. And if it's not a game that you're like super excited for, yeah, don't buy it for full price at launch. Like, just don't, you know. But there's a lot of people who do think it looks really good. I played it. I had a really good time, and I'm excited to see it. It's code for when you wax turtles. Oh, okay. I got all the Borderlands games for less than $100. Yeah, they go on sale all the time. I know he was like, well, yeah, it doesn't happen all the time, so get it now. It's like, it does happen a lot. So if you're interested, get it. If you're not, don't buy it. You know, nobody's forcing you. Alucard, thank you for the 10. Xbox players finally getting their time to shine with Helldivers 2. Yeah, dude, they're bringing it. Full crossplay, too. Full crossplay. That's crazy. But yeah, they're getting it. On the same day that they're bringing Gears out too, which also was surprising. But yeah. It's just hard to justify buying stuff at launch when even great games are 20% off 2 months after release. Well, exactly. That's why if you're able to be patient, you will, without a doubt, save hundreds or even thousands of dollars over the course of a generation. Like if you're willing to just chill and wait for a few months after launch, you probably get a more polished game. You get a game that's received, you know, all the updates, maybe even some DLC, and you will get a discount too. Like if you are patient and can avoid the FOMO, you will save lots of money, like without a doubt. Especially because a lot of these companies, you know, they just want to move units, so they'll put them on sale. The companies that don't, like Nintendo, you're probably not ever gonna do that. Like they're not gonna put the games on sale; they'll be full price forever, and that's just what it is. Same with like, you know, it's pretty rare to see like Red Dead 2 on sale. If you can get it on a deep sale, you're pretty lucky. But yeah. I tried to not have FOMO. Well, and it's also a balancing act, because if there's a game that you really like and you want to reward and like vote with your wallet and support, then, you know, obviously you can buy that at full price at launch, like Expedition 33. I have zero qualms about paying full price for that, you know, zero issue. Let's see, Mr. Mo, thank you for the 19 months. Ooh, baby. After some major thought and discussion with a friend, I've decided that KCD 2 is my personal game of the year, and Expedition 33 has some major flaws. Anyway, how was your trip? It was very nice. I'm glad to hear you love KCD 2, because I agree, it's fantastic. As for the trip, though, yeah, it was a really good time. Very chill. Normally, we stay at this big, like, resort kind of place. This year, we stayed at a house on, like, a separate kind of private lake. And it was smaller, it was quieter, way more chill, but it was still very good. It was much more restful than those trips typically are. Typically those trips are like kind of exhausting because you're just always trying to do something. But this time it was very chill and just a really good time. Have I heard anything about the Ready or Not causing uproar, and do you have any thoughts on it? Yeah, we looked it up at the end of the stream yesterday. And that whole thing is crazy, dude. Because I thought that they were saying initially that they were changing the game in order to get it to launch on console. So I was like, okay, the console version will be kind of censored. Why are PC gamers upset? Because they can just continue playing it. And then somebody in chat mentioned, oh, no. They're censoring the PC version as well, because they want to bring it to console. I was like, okay, yeah, that's dumb. Especially because repeatedly the devs have said that they were not going to censor it, which at that point, they're not even necessarily just upset about the censorship. They're upset about the like gaslighting and lying, which I think is fair to be upset about. You know, that one, fair enough. This just in, Luke owns a lake. Dude, I wish. I would like to live on a lake one day. I do love the water. I don't know if I could live on the ocean because it's so freaking expensive. I don't know if I would ever be able to justify it. But I just love the water. You know, I love being on boats. I love being on ships. I love going out. Like fishing, I like fishing, but like it's not what I would consider like a hobby of mine. I don't like actively go out fishing regularly. You know, on vacation I might, but I love being on the water. That's the thing. I aspire to live in a van down by the river. Yeah, a van down by the river. Damn, dude. Jimbo, thank you for the 10. Here's some money for your retirement yacht. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Jimbo 404 donated $10 through Super Chat. Here is some money for your retirement yacht.
Thank you. I'm doing daily cost price averaging for my investments into I think it was VU is where I was putting it. Yeah, it was just the S&P 500 ETF. But if you don't know, cost basis averaging is what it's called. Yeah, here. It's basically where over time you just put in like little bits of money. If you have $100 to invest, you do 25 a week instead of 100 at the end of the month. So you can buy it sometimes at the high, sometimes at the low, you know, and you can end up on average getting much better returns because you are averaging, cost basis averaging your entry price. So I've been doing like daily buy-ins instead of what I was doing before, which was like monthly, and it's working out quite well. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Not financial advice, but highly recommend it. Yes. Yeah. It's very good. It's very good. Let's see. Did I read all of these ones? Oh yeah, BioWare Blacklist. Jack says with a 5, I just spent $300 on the summer game sale. Also, Death Stranding 2 is awesome. Loving it so far. Yeah, dude, I'm excited to get back into it because I couldn't play it while I was traveling. But yeah, I'm ready to binge. Let's see. Daryl, I'm pretty sure C-level or C-suite execs absolutely hate how much pull unbiased streamers have within the games industry. Well, yeah, like there's at some point, the top echelon of streamers, there's kind of this understanding that they are not critics. They are not reviewers, and so they can be like they're entertainers. So they can be not bought, but like you can buy a place on their streams, you can buy a place in their content, and that's kind of just understood. If you can pay the price, you can play ball, you know. And so a lot of streamers aim to get to that point where they are just the massive streamer and they have the platform, and so you can give money to get on the platform with them, and that's where you can make really good money. And as long as you are an entertainer and you're not trying to frame it as a reviewer, I'm totally chill with that. Like if Kai wants to have on, you know, I don't know, some sponsorship for an upcoming game or for Fortnite or whatever, totally fair. Go for it. Yeah, he's not claiming to be a game reviewer. He's not claiming to be a critic. That's totally fine. The problem is when somebody claims to be like a critic or claims to be like offering a totally justified critical opinion, and then you find out that they've been paid a bunch of money to talk about it, like that's when there's a problem. So as long as you are clearly distinguishing what's going on, I think that's okay. But like if I were, for example, to eventually like for Kingdom Come Deliverance 3, if I was involved in the marketing plan for that and they're like, hey, we want to bring you and we want you to be in one of our videos announcing the game or revealing gameplay or something, I wouldn't make like a review, for example, because I feel like that would at that point be a conflict of interest. So I wouldn't bother making, making a review because it wouldn't be in my place. I think it would be inappropriate. Is this about Jez? No, when I'm thinking about like the big streamers that can do whatever they want, like I'm thinking of like iShowSpeed. If iShowSpeed does a video or a stream where he's playing the new Call of Duty, I don't think that that's like a problem, because I'm sure he made like $1 million or 2 million or 5 million, whatever it is, to play it for a stream. You know, he made crazy amounts of money, and it's understood that he's going to hype it up and he's going to make it look as good as it possibly can, and that's understood. Like that's what you're doing it for. That's fine if that's what the expectation is. But if like a game reviewer or critic comes along and gets like a fat paycheck and is trying to frame it as a review, that's when there's a problem, you know. Is there really any other streamer besides Luke? No, there is not. Thank you, G Mendes. You're right. I'm glad the the brainwashing's working. Thankfully. It's happening. Speed is too busy stalking Cristiano. Dude, those IRL streams, that would be, I am glad that there are people that are willing to do it, because it's cool to see people just exploring the world and streaming it. That's cool. I don't think I could ever do that though. Like the guys that just stream for 12 hours a day and they just film and stream their entire life. I couldn't do it, man. Talk about Jez getting roasted, please. Is that a reference to like that tweet that went around? I'm not sure if I have that bookmarked. I'm also like, I saw a tweet about Jez. I didn't like look at it though, so I'm not sure all the details about it. I don't really know what that involves. Start a prank channel. Oh, like one of those early 2000s prank channels. Yeah, that could be fun. It's very healthy too. Magic Johnson showed off his summer vacation aboard the yacht Whisper. 312-foot yacht, sleeps 12 guests in 7 cabins, a pool, gym, sauna, and movie theater. Jaguar's owner Shad Khan sold the yacht to former Google CEO Eric Schmidt in 2023. The price tag is roughly $1.4 million per week. I'm not sure what does he mean price tag is 1.4 million per week. Oh, so he's renting it? Oh, so it's not his yacht. It's a yacht he's renting for 1.4 million a week for a summer vacation. Look at this thing. Doing morning workout. Dude. Can you even imagine? Like, what do you even do? Like, I can't even begin to imagine. Like, you're chilling. There's a whole staff. So, like, it seems like you got a kitchen down there. Yeah, like the movie theater somewhere in here, please. Or probably, like, the bedrooms are on the lower level. Like, I don't even know what you do. Like, these in the distance, these yachts are still multi-million-dollar yachts. Like, this yacht still, you could save your entire life and never get close to affording that. Same with this one. This one is still probably like a $10-15 million yacht. You know, these are still crazy nice. But this is outrageous, dude. That's crazy. That's wild. Man. Bro's renting a yacht. What a brokey. Dude, I wish I could rent a yacht. That's wild. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, one day we'll get there. Once my Rockstar checks clear for the Mind's Eye coverage. Yeah, once we get there, that'll we'll be able to do it. Oh, come on. They are actually apparently there apparently is confirmation of what that game was that got canceled from the ESO devs. They apparently found out what it was. Look at this. Okay. News, Emma. Yeah, I just need to stop turning down sponsored reviews. Apparently, yeah. Guys, no, you don't understand. It's for the yacht. That'll make everybody understand, yeah. Xbox, okay, let's talk about this. Xbox executives were blown away by an upcoming game, and then they canceled it. Blackbird, the new game from ZeniMax Online Studios, impressed Xbox Phil Spencer earlier this year. So he went to the studio, looked at it, was impressed by it, and then, you know, they just laid off a ton of people and canceled it and walked away from it. This is reporting from Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg. And went through this more detail on what happened, because if you're not familiar, codename Blackbird, this project from ZeniMax Online Studios, was just canceled yesterday, and they're laying off a ton of people. It's a mess. It's a mess, but we found out more about it. On Wednesday morning, employees of the video game maker ZeniMax Online Studios noticed something strange. The executive producer and creative director of their next big game, codenamed Blackbird, no longer had active accounts on their internal chat program, Slack. It was already public news that ZeniMax's parent company, Microsoft, was planning mass layoffs, including deep cuts in the gaming division, but there were no indications that the studio's own project might be in jeopardy. Back in March, so just a few months ago, they had delivered a demo of Blackbird to executives, including Microsoft Gaming Chief Executive Officer Phil Spencer, and had received rave reviews, according to people familiar with the project. Shortly after the disabled Slack accounts were discovered, the company scheduled a project update meeting for 11 a.m. East Coast time. During the meeting, they got the news. Blackbird was being shelved indefinitely, which translation is it was canceled. Shortly afterwards, the rest of the team also lost their Slack accounts. The next few hours were marked by chaos. and confusion as employees found themselves in a kind of limbo status, waiting to see what was going on. There were no emails and no messages from management or HR. Members of the team believed they had been laid off, but many had not yet received any official word from the company. A day later, they got their answer. They were in job purgatory. Late last year, the staff unionized, but they had not yet struck a contract, so Microsoft's lawyers had to negotiate with the union over potential severance packages for anyone who was losing their jobs. In the meantime, they would continue getting their paychecks and remain ZeniMax employees. The union staff told staff on the union told staff on Thursday. QA staff who had a separate union with an established contract received severance packages as mandated by the agreement. I think this could explain the a big part of this whole thing. If you don't know Microsoft, they notoriously do not like unions. They do not like it when the employees come together and challenge the upper management. They do not like that. So if they have to make cuts, that's where they look. You know, there's actually a bit. Let's see. Come on. Union. Let's see, where is it? There's a specific moment in The Office where Jan shuts down the union. You know what I'm talking about? I was trying to see if there's a snippet of it. I don't see it. She it's just Jan scaring everyone to death. There's specifically a moment where she leans down over the railing and she yells at the staff over the unions. Is it here?
You look.
No, that was after they went on vacation. That's after she's fired. No, I don't think they have the snippet in here. Bummer, dude, because it's a good little snippet where it shows you kind of how they manage this. Yeah, the corporate position is it's just not worth dealing with unionized groups. They just would rather get rid of you. Like, does any business like unions? No, like there's some unions. There's what's called a B Corp, for example. So if you don't know about B Corps, what is it searching through Bing? What the hell? That's weird. It just switched my default browser search engine to okay. Well, I don't know what the hell is happening. B Corps. I think it's, what is it? I don't remember what it is. But anyway, basically B Corps, there's a brewery right next to me. I think, I don't think it's Odell's. I think it's New Belgium. I think New Belgium is actually a B Corp. But basically, there's a bunch of different types of corporations. Some of them can offer like employee ownership where employees own a bunch of them. And seriously, this is so weird. Why did it switch to Bing for default searches? I don't know what the hell is happening. But it's there are some ways in which it can happen where like a company is kind of more ethical or more willing to deal with things like that. Doesn't always happen, but it can. It very much can. But once you get to the point of like a giga corporation like a Google, yeah, it's game over, Red Rover. They are not putting up with none of that nonsense. Like, oh, you guys are working together to get fair deals? Get the hell out of here. Like, come on. We're not doing that. So unfortunately, they would never ever confirm this because I'm pretty sure they could be sued into oblivion. But whenever you hear staff recently unionized or wanted to unionize, there's a pretty good chance later in that paragraph, there's going to be a description of how there were mass layoffs or studio closures and stuff like that. So They would never say it, and I'm sure they set this up with, you know, all sorts of lawyers and stuff to make sure that they could get away from it. But unfortunately, there's plenty of examples of big corporations canning studios, teams, you know, contract workers and stuff once there's discussions like unionization and stuff, and certainly once the ball gets rolling, because it's just very expensive, you know, and they don't want to deal with that. So they just fire everybody, basically. A Microsoft spokesperson confirmed as much to me on Thursday morning, quote, represented employees are awaiting information regarding these proposed impacts and next steps, which are subject to negotiations with the union, the company said. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, so the main dev team, they had not completed their unionization contract with Microsoft. So it sounds like when they were trying to pick who to boot out, they decided to target these guys before finding that. And this is also part of it, because you got to remember how unions typically work is that there's like union reps that are appointed by the union itself. The union represents the staff or the employees within the organization. A lot of unions will require things like dues from the employees to pay for like the lawyers that negotiate contracts and stuff. And the idea is that by being in a union, all of the employees can basically work together to negotiate better deals. So like, for example, in acting, there's like the SAG-AFTRA, there's all sorts of different unions, but the big unions, they negotiate how much actors get paid for a day's work, how much they should get paid if they're doing like a TV spot, if they get royalties, if they get this or that. And by working together, when all of the actors are part of that union and when all the actors are willing to play by the same rules, you can elevate the average pay for everybody, you know, when all is said and done. And it can lead to lots of restrictions. So for example, I've told this story before, but I did a play called On Golden Pond with a very amazing actor. Can I find it? Yeah. Named Jonathan Farwell. He's a crazy cool dude. He's still rocking and rolling out in, I think he's still in Fort Collins. But yeah, he's in Colorado, and I did a play with him called On Golden Pond, and he was in Star Trek. He's been all over the place, but he's a part of that union. And as a result, when he wanted to do that play with us, he had minimums he had to pay or be paid by the theater company, even though this was like a tiny operation and they weren't going to really make any money on the production. He still had to be paid. So the director, who also owned the company, had to pay out of his own pocket the however many thousands of dollars to him through the union because of his union membership. And then he had to donate back the money to the theater company. So he got the check and immediately gave it back to the theater so that he could stay in the union, and the union, you know, wouldn't come after the production or wouldn't come after him. Because if he accepted this and just did it like pro bono, he would be booted from the union, because once you're a part of the union, they have to represent you on everything. You know, you can't just choose when to use them or not. So it's a whole thing. Anyway, that's in like the entertainment industry, at least. So it can help everybody that's in the union make more money, but it does certainly kind of clog the pipes up a little bit. You know, it can get things to move much more slowly. Absolutely. I said somebody, where is it? I feel like somebody just put something. Yeah, you can't just volunteer. No, because if you volunteer, you are choosing to not use the union, and now you're not working with your union. Like now you're going against the union's interests. So it doesn't work. The unions also will negotiate. So like if a movie production firm, if they choose to work with actors who are not part of the union, that doesn't work. You can't do that. Then the whole union strikes. They don't work with that company at all. You lose access to all of the biggest actors and actresses who are part of the unions. Like the whole thing falls apart. Yeah, it's like it's a whole thing. Let's see. But does it just get taxed? What does go back even less? Well, I think the contribution to the firm or to the theater was I don't think it was a nonprofit at that point. So I don't know. He lost money. Jonathan lost money doing the show. He lost money on it because he, all the processes and giving the money back. And I don't know if there was a processing fees from the union or what, but yeah, he lost money doing the show, but he donated all the money back just to be able to do it. There's a whole thing. Yeah. Oh, and this is his wife, or was his wife, Deb. She was amazing. She was also in the show. She passed away from cancer a handful of years ago. But I got to do the show with both of them, and they were amazing talents. He's still around, as far as I know. But like I said, Deb passed away. Both amazingly talented, fantastic. But yeah, there's a lot of unions. There's a lot of unions that are out there, but Microsoft does not deal with those. They don't like it. They do not like it. They just don't. Yeah, I swear to God, there was one of these mentioning one of the let's see. Yeah, there was that one union. Was it the shoremen, the guys that managed loading the boats and stuff in some of the docks? Was it on the East Coast where they stopped work because, like, the longshoremen, is that right? But yeah, there was all sorts of stories where when all of them choose to stop working, they all stop working together, so the whole thing grinds to a halt, and then it's called collective bargaining, where they can come together and they can negotiate better deals, better contracts, better salaries, better health care, all of that. And that's expensive, which is why Microsoft doesn't like it. Because if they're trying to decide which studios to close, and they're like, okay, yeah, this game has potential. It looks pretty solid. But if you guys don't like the pay 1 year, or you don't like our health insurance because we decide to cut it, you're just going to stop development on the game. Yeah. Bye. Like, that's how they handle it. It's just, yeah, we decided the project didn't have much going for it. So we're just walking away. We're just walking away from it. It happens. Again, they would never admit to it because I'm pretty sure it's illegal, but it's one of those, like, not secrets where everybody knows why they're shutting the team down, but there's no paper trail. There's no, like, oh, here's where Phil Spencer said we're closing them down because they unionized. Like, you would never see that. But my humble opinion is that that's probably a big piece of it, So they got their answer, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they answered that. Blackbird wasn't the only project canceled during this week's mass layoff at Microsoft that cut more than 9,000 jobs, including a substantial number in the gaming unit. The company also canceled Perfect Dark and Everwild, two games that had also been in development for years, and cut off several external projects, including a first-person shooter developed by Romero Games, the studio founded by Doom co-creator John Romero and his wife, Brenda Romero. But Blackbird's cancellation was particularly shocking because it had blown away executives at Xbox just a few months ago. During the demonstration in March, Spencer was enjoying the game so much that Matt Booty, the head of Xbox Game Studios, had to pull the controller away so they could keep the meeting going, according to two people who were in the room. Despite some technological hiccups and a lengthy development cycle, the game appeared to be making good progress. Employees were stunned to see it get caught up in the bloodbath. I mean, that's wild. I will say, I don't know how Phil Spencer is in, like, these meetings. I don't know. Maybe he is generally like the good guy. Like, there's the good cop and the bad cop. Maybe he's the good cop and he'll be very encouraging and everything, but secretly and privately, he's like, game's ass. I don't know. Maybe he's more hardcore. I just don't know. But my thought would be, if Jason Schreier's talking to devs, maybe like the devs thought the meeting went really well, but maybe Phil didn't think it went well. Or maybe Phil was like, yeah, like I want to keep playing. I want to see more, but okay, yeah, it's still not coming together and it's too expensive. Shutting it down. Like, I don't know. You never know kind of the dynamics that were in the room at the moment. Or in the moment. ZeniMax Online Studios was founded in 2007 to develop The Elder Scrolls Online, a massive multiplayer online role-playing game, MMORPG, set in the popular fantasy franchise that spawned Skyrim. After a rocky launch in 2014, the ESO project received several updates and went on to bring in millions of players while transforming into one of the publisher's most lucrative games, bringing in $2 billion in revenue by 2024. In 2018, the company began building a team for its next project, which it gave the codename Kestrel. Later, the team switched the codename to Blackbird because they liked Kestrel so much, they wanted to use it as the actual name. The game faced some early technical challenges and was put on the back burner because of the ongoing success of ESO, which vacuumed up most of the studio's resources. But in recent years, Blackbird's progress had sped up. The team expanded to 300 people, delivered the impressive vertical slice in March, and was aiming to release in 2028. So still a few years out after all this time. So it would be a 10-year dev cycle. That's crazy. Blackbird was a third-person online looter shooter. Okay. Similar to Destiny, set within a new franchise. It had a sci-fi noir aesthetic similar to films like Blade Runner and placed a heavy emphasis on vertical movement. Players could use abilities such as double jumping, air dashing, and grappling hook and wall climbing to fling themselves around tall buildings like superheroes. I saw footage of the vertical slice last night and was impressed. It was slick looking demo with alluring visuals and battle sequences. Xbox executives were also blown away when they played Blackbird in March. According to people familiar with the game's development, executives had nothing but complimentary words for the project. Okay, well, I mean, if that's what everybody's saying. Following that March meeting, the team began putting together a production plan that would flesh out the vertical slice and then build out more content for release. Then, yesterday, the game was canceled. Woof. Stunning everybody at the studio. Matt Firor, the well-respected studio boss and director who founded ZeniMax Online Studios and led ESO, immediately tendered his resignation. Staff were not given an explanation for Blackbird's cancellation. It was said to be an expensive project, and Xbox may have seen it as too risky. It was a new franchise and a live service game entering an oversaturated market during a time when many other live service titles have flopped. The team was also building a brand new engine for the game while making it, which created a number of challenges. A Microsoft spokesperson declined to elaborate on why it was canceled. I mean, this is one of those things. Like, a game can be solid. A game can even be good. But if it's not going to make money, it doesn't make sense. Like, I think it was Mia on the Discord asked a question, and my Discord is blanking out right now. But she asked a question on the Discord that was basically just like, Luke, do you think games are art or are they commodities? And the answer is yes. Like, I think, you know, there's some games which are just straight up products and nothing more than that. Like, I think Monopoly Go is just a product. But I think the video games that we tend to like are a little bit of both. You know, it's a little bit of this art, it's a little bit of the business, and it's kind of finding the way to balance the two at the same time. But I do think that I do think that when executed well, it's a balancing act between those two sides of the coin. Let's hear. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah. It was Melissa. Do you think video games are more of an art or more of a commodity? Cannot say both in equal measure. Which way do you lean? Curious. Oh, so I can't say both. I think the games I like are much more art than commodity. The games that make a lot of money are much more commodity than art. You know, like I think Roblox, my humble opinion, more commodity. I think Monopoly Go, more commodity. I tend to dislike the games that are very commodity leaning. I tend to like more artsy fartsy stuff. So that's how I would answer it. But I think that this is part of the thing, is that you have to remember, if a product like a very expensive MMORPG is not going to make money, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't click. And so why spend $200 million on it if it goes nowhere? Like, they're not going to spend 10 years on this game, which probably, when all is said and done, has cost hundreds of millions of dollars. And the team is now unionized, so you're going to have to pay them even more, when at the end of the day, you're going to be releasing a game that is like an always online live service looter shooter in an original IP nobody's heard of before. So that could help it, could hurt it as well, because there's been plenty of those that have gone absolutely nowhere. Some that pop off and explode, but plenty that have gone nowhere. And, you're rolling a dice. Even a pretty solid live service game can flop in 2025, or in this case, 2028. So why risk it, And that's the thing. Like, they may have thought this game's really good, and if it was released right now, I would play a lot of it. But I don't think it can make up $400 million of dev cost. And that's the thing. It's not about being, for these games, it's not about being a good game. It's not about being a high quality game that gets a good Metacritic score that players connect with and think is novel and interesting. It's about whether it can cover dev costs and turn a profit. And if it can't, shut it down. And so for them, they might have just looked at it and said, it's a real gamble, and this studio is exponentially more expensive than the other teams we have because of the unionization. So it makes it even more expensive, which means it's even riskier, because the ceiling or the bar that they have to cross over to break even is even higher. And frankly, if the game is planning for a 2028 release and it started development in 2018, that's wild. I mean, they're saying in 2018 they started beginning building the team, and it was ballooning up to 300 people. But it was still 3 years out. It was going to take 10 years from start to finish to get out. That's crazy expensive. And that's a long time. Especially we saw with some of these games like Concord, which I believe Concord, forgive me if I'm forgetting, I believe they said that was in development for an estimated like 6 years. They started ideation and stuff in 2018. And it feels like it. Like, it feels like it was about... Like, it was a game that probably would have done really well if it had released in like 2018. Probably. Oh, I think it was 2016 they said that it started early ideation and stuff. But either way, like, it felt like a game that could have done well if it had released when it was designed. But these games take so freaking long to make that by the time it released, it was 2018. Okay, it was 2018. But by the time it released, all of those trends, all of those metas and stuff that they were chasing had been burned out. And so it didn't matter. It didn't matter if it was a really good game for 2018. It matters if it's a good game for the time it's launching in, And so even if the game feels really good today, in 2028, you're talking about launching on the next gen of consoles. You're talking about competing with all of those games that are going to be coming out, all the other like big MMOs and things that are being designed by like PlayStation, by NetEase, by any Tencent subsidiary. It just becomes way harder to justify the cost. And in this case, I'm sure even if they like the game, they're just looking at it being like, it's taken 10 years. It's a big gamble hearing that it's like a movement-based third-person looter shooter in a new IP. So you're going to have to brand it from the beginning. Like, there was another third-person looter shooter that came out, and we talked about it a lot. And it was also a game focused on verticality of movement. It was a game focused on swinging around buildings like a superhero. And it was from a very accomplished studio. And we all know how this ended. So it could have been big. It could have made $2 billion again, like Elder Scrolls. It could have done that, yeah. Or it could have been another Suicide Squad. Because again, you rewind the clocks 10 years. I don't think anybody would have thought that one of the biggest flops of 2024 would have been the latest Rocksteady game. I don't think anybody would have thought that. but it's because it's a huge gamble. It just is. Now, the good sign of this is that it seems like, maybe Xbox is being more cautious with the live service stuff than Sony is, because I think Sony is just kind of throwing money at stuff, hoping that it works. So maybe they're learning, but it still sucks to see that they apparently liked the game and then they choose to cancel it anyways, because it's like, well, this is why we can't have nice things. My humble opinion is that this unionization element was a huge component of this. I think this is a huge component of it. Just knowing how some of these big corporations work. If they have the option between two teams to lay off everybody or to downsize, and they are looking at one team that's not unionized, they can continue paying pretty low and just kind of pushing around, doing what they need to do. And then they look over here and they see a unionized team that has a project that's maybe more promising, but they are way more expensive. They're just going to choose to go and shut down the more expensive one. Because again, it's about money. It's not about whether the game is better with, the company B versus company A. It doesn't matter if company B's product is going to be better. If it's not going to make significantly more money, and this team is going to be way more expensive and more of a headache to deal with, they're just going to choose to can it. And that seems to be what happened here. So I think we actually talked about it on stream once when this news broke that they had successfully unionized, and it was just a matter of getting like the contracts negotiated. I remember we talked about it and I was like, I hope that nothing happens, because Microsoft doesn't tend to just go along with this stuff. And it was kind of surprising that they allowed them to unionize, because what's happened in other companies, I don't know about Microsoft specifically, but there's been other tech companies where the moment that there's discussions of unionization, they just shut down the entire company just before it even starts. Just be like, nope, we're not risking it. You're all done. And just shut the whole thing down. It's why I wanted to find that clip of Jan in the office talking about the whole thing, because she talked about it and was like, you guys remember what happened when I think it was Buffalo. She said the branch in Buffalo tried to unionize and they all lost their jobs because Dunder Mifflin laid them all off and shut the company down, or the branch down, because they were talking about unionizing. So, but that's how a lot of it works. Season 2, episode 15. Boom. Thank you. I don't have 15. Yeah, it's specifically when she's doing that, but anyway. Yeah, we got Office fans in the chat. No, yeah, absolutely. It's good. We have a good community here. Oh, my wife is calling me twice in a row, so I'm guessing she wants to know when I'm done. So I'll be right back. I'll just go on mute. I'll be right back. Okay, give me a second.
Attend the tale of Maxwell Roth. He sought the footlights like a moth, his sense of timing never off until he opted to collaborate with a hooded reprobate. The blighter and assassin made a deadly double bill. Jokes, 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 make 'em laugh until they choke. Fairly slay 'em in the aisles, maidens fair and princes charming. Thrills, 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 dashing feats and bloody spills, and I guarantee you'll never see the ending coming.
Okay, I'm back. You didn't see it coming. Got you. It's because the groceries were delivered, and so she was wondering if I could go work on if I could go start putting them away once they are done being delivered, because the lady is like unloading them now. It's how we avoid buying a lot of junk food, is that we do the like, they bring the food, deliver it to your front door instead of like you having to go walk through the supermarket to do it, which is good, because if I go and do that, it's just like I grab bags of stuff I get in trouble. Huntered, thank you for the resub. Always happy to be here. Been watching you for years. Not a huge Twitch watcher. Hope you have a great holiday weekend. You too, my friends. Stay safe out there. And yes, it's always a wonderful time. Thank you for that. And yes, glad to have you. And yeah, no, glad to have you. Mandre, thank you for the sub with Prime as well. Thank you. Thank you. Cam Rex, thank you also for the membership. And then Jason, thank you for that one. In other stupid gaming corporation news, Crafton fired the leadership of Unknown Worlds and replaced them with the CEO behind the Callisto Protocol. Huh. I didn't know that. Interesting. I will have to look it up.
Sarat_Kodav has just
Oh,
tipped $100
Jesus.
through Super Chat. Use this for future marathon microtransactions. Anyways, thanks for always having consistent quality content.
Well, Jesus, dude, that's the first red super chat we've had in a while. Thank you. That's ridiculously generous. And yes, I will, if Marathon ever launches, which unfortunately at this point, not really a given. If it ever launches, we'll get some skins, okay? We'll get some skins just for you. Just for you. Thank you, my friend. That's crazy generous. Save it for the future, yacht. Yeah, boo. Yeah. Why did I call you boo? I was like, yeah, bro, but then I was gonna say dude, and so it just turned into yeah, boo. Sorry, everybody. Bye. Ooh, that was. Didn't mean to call you boo. My bad. Oh, golly. Oh, and Jimbo, thank you.
404 donated $10 through Super Chat. Okay, y'all have a fun and safe July 4th. And as Fire Marshal Bill advises, never hold your firecracker for too long. Like so. Boom.
Yes, absolutely. Don't hold firecrackers. Yeah, y'all have a fun and safe 4th of July. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, if you're in the States, you're celebrating Freedom Day, go. Be safe. A lot of people, they party pretty hard this weekend. Don't be one of those sad stories, okay? Be crazy, have fun, but be smart about it, you know? Be smart about it. Be safe, because it's wild. There's a lot of fun to be had. There's also a lot of injuries to be had. So just be cautious and careful. Yeah, and if you're Canadian or British, haha. Oops, you're missing out. Too bad. Most jobs require the use of hands. That is technically true. Jacob's right. Yes, it is technically true. It is true. But fam, for the next segment, we just had Canada Day on July 1st. That sounds like such a made up holiday. I know it's real because I saw the stuff about it being real, but I'm sorry. Canada Day sounds like the most made up holiday in history. Like, yes, today we're having Canada Day. Don't you know? Canada Day. We all sit around. Yeah, we actually go and collect our own maple syrup and we just go around apologizing to everybody. It's great. It's great. It sounds lame as hell. Yeah. Do you have explosions on Canada Day? Lots of controlled explosions and some not so controlled. We do. Yeah. Aren't all holidays made up? Yeah, but some are real and some are fake. And I think Canada Day's fake. I'm locking it in. Oh, man. Rage bait, Luke? Yeah, sorry.
Live with the consequences.
Very sorry. Yeah. Oh my God. For our next segment, I actually want to talk about this. I saw this pop up randomly, just because I mean, it came across my feed and it actually sparked a memory in me from way back when, but it's specifically this image. And if you know what this image is, you'll know kind of where we're going with it. But I want to talk about this picture and what it means in the gaming space, specifically with live service games. Figure that one out. figure that one out. Yeah, I remember having a professor in statistics talk about this whole thing. Did a whole class about it. And so this picture is like ingrained in my brain of a plane with a bunch of dots all over it. And yeah, we'll get into it. Yeah, EAG knows what we're doing. Yeah, you know what we're doing. Survivorship bias. Yeah. It's even if like in the specifics, if the story around it is not true, it still proves the point. And I want to talk about it in the context of Sony live service choices for design and everything else that they're doing, because I feel like it kind of explains some of the nonsense that's been going on. But again, we'll talk about it. Joel, thank you for the 10. Hey Luke, my friend really wants me to play games like Destiny 2 and Overwatch, but they seem really overwhelming. Do you know of games that are easier to get into? I think part of it is that those games can be really competitive as well. And as a result, like if your friend that wants you to get into it wants you to get in and play like ranked, it can be miserable. So I would recommend like whether it's Overwatch. I think Overwatch is a little bit more accessible than like a Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals has a lot more complexity, but I would look at playing those games, trying them. But, you know, look up a character that interests you, try all the different characters, but look up a character that interests you, like a little guide. Get started with Iron Man in Marvel Rivals or Moira in Overwatch, whatever it may be. And just start practicing a little bit. But, like, don't go crazy for the grind. Don't go crazy for ranked modes right off the bat. Like, build up to it. For me, very few games ranked modes are more fun than just quick play. Like I grinded out ranked arenas in Apex Legends for a long time. Loved it. But like ranked Marvel Rivals, I personally find toxic and frustrating. Like there are some people in there that are just kind of miserable to be around. Not all of them, but enough that it's kind of annoying, you know? So I would just keep it fun. Don't start getting into the grinding, like, you know, ranked mindset. Just keep having fun with it, you know? Stay fun. Ranked Siege for new players can be toxic as well. Yeah, Siege is one I've wanted to get into, but it's too toxic for me. I just can't do it. Sarah, thank you for the membership. Thank you. Yeah, it's just, it's too much for me personally. Law, also thank you for the 2. It started when we were younger. You were my boo. How dare you? That's crazy. Thank you. I hate ranked for real. Yeah, some people grind it out. It's like the only way they play games. Some people can't like find the fun unless they're getting like a higher rank. My brain doesn't work that way. I'll do it for some games I really, really like, but for some games, it's just too toxic, dude. Like they take it way too seriously. Like there is no fun to be had. It is all just hyper competitive, miserable nonsense, you know? And it's like, bro, can we not just enjoy something? Can we not just like chill? But no, that's not what ranked is for. So yeah. I had a group of friends to play Siege with. They wanted to play ranked. I ranked higher than them, so they stopped playing with me. Well, it does get to a point where I'm not attacking anybody. When I played Warzone heavily, as we all did back in lockdowns, at one point I wanted to start doing like the ranked thing. I wanted to start grinding that out. And I had some friends that I would play with. Hoobie, by the way, also thank you for the sub with Prime. I don't know why I didn't hear that one, but thank you. I wanted to grind out ranked, but the people I played with were not like the most basic thing in Warzone. Like when you run in an open field, slide, cancel, hop, do something, run in zigzags, do something so you're not just lining straight up for a sniper shot. And these people I played with would just run in a straight line. And then they'd get sniped in an open field and then be like, come res me. I'm like, no, you're in the middle of the wide open field. They're waiting for me to run in so they can snipe me. You did this to yourself.
Live with the consequences.
And so we just kind of stopped playing together because it just didn't make sense anymore. It's like, okay, if you're not even gonna try and do like the bare minimum, we can't have fun. Like we can't run in open fields, we can't cross roads. Like there's some basic things you have to do to be even moderately competitive. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine, but we can't do ranked. You know, we can't do it. Rank should be individually based, not team based or win based. Thoughts? Do you mean it based on the rank of the individuals? I think for a lot of games it is. I think with some games, I think we have to be more specific, because some games they do like the entire lobby is like bronze 4. So each individually, I can't speak. Each individual has to be of bronze 4 tier, or this is a platinum 2 lobby. So to get in this match, you have to be platinum 2. And so it's individually balanced. If you hit that rank, you can be in that lobby. But like skill-based matchmaking for like Warzone worked kind of as a team-based mode, where it was like they took everybody's KDs and then would average them across the team, and then that was the average KD for the lobby you went into. So yeah. Yeah, it's. I think we have to be more specific about it, but I think the way most games do it is about right. Let's see. Did I miss the big announcement? No, it's not happened yet. I thought it would happen during the stream. It has not. It's kind of out of my control, so I can't reveal it. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Can't reveal it yet, but I will post about that when I can. Yeah, I'm waiting for this other group to do something, and then I can talk about it. But anyway, I've got not dishes. I've got groceries sitting on the front porch, so I need to go put those in the refrigerator. You guys are amazing. Thank you for chilling with me in this kind of last minute impromptu stream. You're wonderful. We will be back on Monday, rocking and rolling just like normal. And all of you guys, just make sure to have a very safe holiday weekend. Take an Uber, no drinking and driving. Don't hold on to fireworks. Be safe. Shouldn't have to say all that, but you know, just remember, if you're about to hold on to that firecracker until it blows up, just pause and be like, what did Luke tell me to do? Not this, and then drop it, okay? Saving lives every day. Right here. Thanks for watching. Love you all. I'll see you soon. Thank you again, Sarat, for the incredibly generous $100 super chat. That's outrageous. So truly, truly thank you. That's absolutely crazy. So thank you. Much love, everybody. We'll see you soon. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.